Ezra, you know there was a mistake in last week's Parsha video? The 4-letter name for Hashem represents mercy, not judgment.
Yeah, that mistake was your fault.
What are you talking about? You're the one who said that line.
You're the one who told me to write it.
Actually, we both wrote that script.
I don't need you to write the scripts. I can make the Parsha videos by myself.
You're probably right. But what about all those great times we've had together?
No. Those times are over. This mistake has ruined our street cred. The good people of AJA will never listen to us again. Now go from me. And never see my face again. Because on that day, you will die. That was a good insult, right?
True have you spoken. I will never see your face again.
Slap!
If there would be a Parsha video this week, it would have been on Parshat Bo.
Hey guys, sorry you had to witness that.
We were just acting out a modern interpretation of this week's Parsha. This show will take place on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at a minyan with a Torah scroll near you. Tickets available for $18.
Enough with these jokes, Stan.
That wasn't a joke.
Let's get down to business. That scene that you just saw was based on a few Pesukim from this week's Parsha. After the 9th plague, Paro calls Moshe and tells him, "Sure, you can leave, but you can't bring the animals for the sacrifice."
Moshe says no. Not only will we be bringing our livestock, but you're going to give us stuff to offer as a sacrifice. Paro's heart is hardened, and the Torah relates the following. Vayomer lo Paro, lech mi alai, hishamer lecha al tosef re'ot panai, ki biyom rodcha fanai tamut. Paro said to Moshe, "Go from me. Beware, don't see my face again, for on the day that you do, you shall die."
And Moshe responds, Vayomer Moshe, Kain dibarta, lo osif od re'ot penecha. True have you spoken. I shall never see your face again.
The commentaries elaborate on this, because we know that Moshe does in fact interact with Paro later on. But Ramban says that from now on, Paro goes to Moshe, but Moshe never goes back to Paro's palace. But that's not the commentary we wanted to focus on today.
Moshe doesn't immediately leave, but he tells Paro all about the next plague of Makat B'Charot, the death of the firstborn sons. Then the Torah says that Moshe left Paro in burning anger. Ve'etzeh me'im Paro b'rechi af.
There's a super interesting commentary on this wording, bechari af, and we found it in the Talmud. See, every other time that the Torah uses the term chari af, burning anger, that person then performed a tangible action to rebuke someone and put them in their place. But here it seems that no action is done. Moshe just leaves.
So, Reish Lakish explains that Moshe actually did do something.
Amar Reish Lakish, sitaro v'yatsa. Moshe slapped Paro across the face and left.
Now that's a really bold statement. The great leader of the Jewish people slapping out of anger? We thought that there was no way this could actually happen. And we were kinda right. We looked at the commentaries on the Gemara.
Now we're going deep.
Well, if we ever want to be real Torah scholars, we gotta go deep. Anyway, there are all sorts of opinions on these commentaries. Many of them take the opinion that this slap didn't really happen.
Eitz Yosef, for example, says that Moshe's rebuke from his anger wasn't a literal slap to Paro, but it was the way that he constantly talked down to Paro throughout this week's Parsha. This way of speaking to Paro was like a slap in the face.
The Maharal supports this claim by connecting the slap with a pasuk in Devarim that uses similar language to talk about Lashon Hara. Moshe was talking down to him.
The Maharal also says that we know it's not a real slap because if Moshe actually hit Paro across the face, he wouldn't be able to justify that action. But by using words, he can say that it wasn't a real beating. Also, Paro is the one who spoke badly first.
Ben Ishchai says that the word Reish Lakish used for slap, sataro, has been translated by Onkelos as tzad, or side. He says normally, when you leave the presence of a king, you walk backwards out of respect. But here, Moshe walked sideways and turned his face away from Paro as he was leaving.
Now that is the slap in the face. Regardless of how you choose to interpret Reish Lakish's statement, these verses show an important shift in the power dynamic between Paro and Moshe. In Shmot and Va'era, Paro always had the upper hand. Moshe and Aaron always had to appeal to Paro to continue Hashem's plan.
But from now on, Paro will go to Moshe, begging to be saved from the plagues. After the plagues of last Parsha, Paro lost. In last Parsha, it was always, no, you cannot take the Jews out. In this Parsha, it was negotiating. You can take the elders, but not the women. You can take the people, but not the animals. Until Paro completely cracks.
But Ezra, I still have another question. If this slap, or something that represents a slap, did happen, then how come the Torah doesn't just explicitly mention it?
Well, Marsha says that whether it was a literal slap or not, it isn't included in the pasuk out of respect. Respect for Paro.
Even though Paro is being a complete jerk, the Torah still has respect for Paro as a person and as a leader, and he's already embarrassed himself enough in the last two parshas.
Kind of like how we embarrass ourselves by making these videos every week.
Anyway, we think that Moshe's point in slapping Paro wasn't to retaliate or punish him or make a statement to inflate Moshe's ego. It wasn't to say that I am now better than you, Paro. He was trying to slap some sense into him.
I just told you, Paro, that you, your son, and every firstborn in Egypt is going to die. You better listen to me this time.
The commentaries support that this wasn't disrespectful. Rather, the slap was a symbolic wake-up gesture to Paro, not a slap of disrespect like it may seem. Sometimes dire circumstances require extreme wake-up calls.
We personally had never heard the story before. We hope that you guys found it interesting and can take this story of Moshe's wake-up call to Paro to heart.
But try not to slap anyone this Shabbos. Not until the Super Bowl.
Go Falcons!
Thanks for watching.
Shabbat Shalom.